Have you ever just wanted to lose weight and maybe you've been overweight the majority of your life and you just wish, oh man, I wish my parents gave me good eating habits. But the reality is everyone is actually doing what is good, like what works for them. Like a lot of people online when I was like before I've watched so many weight loss videos, but they're always like, oh, you're just not losing weight because you don't know how to lose weight. And that may be the case for you. I really don't know. But I have loved science from such a young age, and I love looking at studies and seeing the different effects. And the thing is, between the different diets, between different macronutrient ratios, there really isn't much of a difference besides there's not really much of a difference. And also, the only real difference is they're just all in a calorie deficit. So they'll lose more weight when they're in a larger calorie deficit. And the thing is, you really just need to find what works for you, even if it's not healthy. I have thrown myself into researching what is actually the healthiest for our bodies, not like fad science, not. And the thing is, you can know everything that is good for you, but we are creatures of habit. Humans are creatures of habit. For example, I love sweetened drinks, mostly like coffee. And I can switch for a couple of days to black coffee, but it never sticks because when I end up getting stressed and overwhelmed, I go back to my bad habits. So it really is about finding what works for you. It doesn't matter. It's not that it doesn't matter, but it's about reducing the risk, not about eliminating it. Because as we all, almost every single person in the world does something that's bad for them. For example, and knowing that it's bad for them doesn't make them not do it. For example, in the US, around 11% of the population smokes. Okay, well, the percentage of physicians or doctors that smoke is 20%. This is just goes to show there are plenty of physicians that are overweight. There are plenty of people that know interworkings of the human body and know how it functions optimally, and they still can't implement it. There are dietitians that are overweight. There are psychologists that neglect their emotions and do not have emotional intelligence in their own life. So it truly, for me personally, I prefer drinks over eating. I can just drink, not alcohol, drink, sweetened drinks all day. So knowing about myself, I can try to completely switch up. And maybe it'll work for a week. Maybe it'll work for a month, which FYI it doesn't for me. Maybe it does for you. But eventually when I get stressed and overwhelmed, as humans do, I go back to what I know. So the main point is not trying to do what everyone's telling you to do, but instead figuring out what you always slip up on when you're stressed or overwhelmed. What do you always do? And if you love chips, for example, and you cut out chips, eventually when you get stressed, you're going to be binging on chips. Okay. And even if you commit to losing weight, it's about just lessening the negative health effects. So I love sugar. I can run on sugar. I'm not as big of a snack person. So I know, we're supposed to stay around under 25 grams of sugar a day. So I physically, instead of going to Starbucks or going to Dunkin' and having who knows how many pumps of sugar, I physically see the teaspoon, I have the sugar, I don't have a creamer and the sugar in the creamer, I have the sugar, I have the teaspoon, and I can see it every day. And some days I might go over 6. And some days when I'm extremely stressed, I might have 10. But the majority of days, I'm keeping I'm keeping it relatively low, and I'm reducing the health effects as much as possible. And if you drink a lot of sweet drinks like soda, it's not even just about 25 grams of sugar. If you have 100 grams of added sugar per day, and then you just cut it down to 50, this is still a really big change. There are many different ways, like, for example, keto. Keto, if you don't like carbs as much, if you really love protein and you really like dairy, and you don't care as much about vegetables, you don't care as much about carbs, like, you're fine with replacing like pasta and bread and stuff with some type of replacement, keto is a great diet for you. But personally, as much as I know protein is, I need protein. I don't have the problem other people have of eating too much protein and going to the gym. I don't get enough protein. As much as I know protein is good for me, and I know the easiest way to get protein is through meat, I just can't force myself to eat it, like, consistently. I like vegetables, I like carbs, I like dairy, but I do not really like meat. And even vegetable sources of protein, like beans, I like it more than animal protein, but I still don't love it as much as other things. So it's really just about what works for you. Also, something funny, just the last thing, something maybe funny is just finding small ways kind of to trick yourself. Like when I went overseas, I would track like how much weight I lost in pounds, and then I would see how much weight I need to lose in kilograms. So it's like kind of tricking yourself. So it's like, oh, I lost 20 pounds. And instead of thinking, oh, I want to lose 40 more pounds. No, I only want to lose 20 kilograms more. So just, it's about finding what works for you, not what you always go back to. But not overdoing it. So I hope that helps somebody, because I've tried a million times to do what's right, to do what makes my body function optimally, and you can know how everything works and still not do what's best for you, because we are imperfect creatures. Science, many other fields, math, it's perfect. Not perfect, but it's almost perfect. It all makes sense. It all works. But we are imperfect. So try not to judge yourself as much, because we humans are not perfect beings. And you can know everything right and do wrong.